But yeah, I saw that. Give me a sec.
Like I thought that.
Welcome back to the stream. First time here, hit the like and subscribe button on the video. If you like the content, continue to like and subscribe. Tell your buddies, once again, go check out Jacob Reed YouTube channel. He's doing a Steeler rebuild. Episode 1's up. The question is, what is he going to do with AB? I have to tune into episode 2 to find out. Special guest host tonight is Buffy Fan 95 and my lovely fiance Caitlin.
What up?
I saw him first, Caitlin.
Colton, I saw something interesting on YouTube today.
What'd you see?
I saw a top 10 most anticipated races of the year.
First plate race without plates, even though it's same. It's gonna be the same crap because it's a tapered spacer. Tapered spacer is basically a restrictor plate.
Also,
I mean, like I said, everybody seems to think that taking the plate off is going to be ridiculous, but it's like they're still going to be doing the same speed. Because the taper spacer is just going to choke the engine.
Correct. I agree.
It'll be interesting to see, though. I'll give it that.
Is it a house? 95 months not worth that.
Can't be it can't be any worse than that Dega race. That was what was the year where there were like 3 flips in the same race? Was that 2016? No, it was 2015. My bad. 2015.
Yeah, 2015. You're talking about the Kenseth, Danica, the...
No, actually, that was 2016, my bad. Because,
we're on the same wave path, right? It's Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, it's the Kenseth, it's the one where Kenseth and Danica flipped, and then Busher flipped, and at the end, Harvick got up in the fence. Yeah,
Busher flipped. Yeah, Busher flipped, then Kenseth flipped.
That was such a wacky race, because, like, I've never seen a race where there's been that many flips in a single race.
Yep. Also, just so you guys do know, we are going to be live tomorrow night for the league race here on Walking Vision's channel. The first league race being done live this season. Well, let's get back to the football. Ben Roethlisberger coming out, having a little bit of a shaky season, almost over 5,000 yards passing with 35 touchdowns. The interception rate is a little higher than usual for Big Ben, but it is a lot harder to find open receivers when your offensive line doesn't give you a lot of time to throw the ball. But anyways, back to this league race. We have the driver of the number 41 car here, winner last week of Phoenix. Let's recap last week's race. Hey, Colton, tell us a little bit about those final 12 laps.
Alright. Well, I mean, what really changed the whole dynamic of the race was the final caution coming out, because once the pit road opened up and the leader, which was the 8 car, had that pit penalty, that just opened up the entire race to being really anybody's race. I mean, you know, within the last 3 or 4 laps, it looked like it was really going to be anybody. I mean, for one corner, it looked like you had it, then it was me, and then the 4 car got under me, so it really, at the end, it was really anybody's race, and it really came down to basically the last set of corners.
Colton, take us through those last 2 laps, in your opinion. What happened there that really gave you the opportunity to win the game? The race, sorry, playing football, and you know what I meant to say.
Yeah, well, what really gave me the shot was I knew on the restart that if I could just get the rhythm going, because I felt like I was a little better on the short run than a lot of people. It would just come down to being a little more consistent than the leader, which at the time was you in the 24 car. And you overdrove the one corner, and I managed to get under you, but at the same time the 4 car got under me. So at that point, it was really just trying to stay in front of him and not open up the bottom, because at Phoenix, once you open up the bottom, that's really going to be the end of it. I was amazed I was able to get the lead on the outside off of him, to be honest. Still trying to figure that one out. But like I said, it really came down to the last lap, whereas we went into the last set of corners, and yeah, it was looking more like the 4 car was going to get it. I was trying to set up a crossover move, and 24 car comes out of nowhere, tries to slide job on both of us. Almost worked, and just being able to get myself set up for that corner and get back in the gas before a lot of other people, that's really what won it right there.
Can you tell us what happened with the 24 car? Did he misjudge the line, or what happened? It looked like he slowed down on the replay.
You're talking about the last move right before the
last move right before the start-finish line, correct.
It just looked like he tried to slide job, and he wasn't clear enough of the 4 car, and kind of took them both with him. That's really what it looked like, because I don't think there's a driver out there in the field that wouldn't have tried the same thing.
And King Bren was talking a little bit, he was drawing a little bit with walking in our chat. What's going on with that? Your opinion, what do you think that was? Do you think that's just him continuing to be a little butthurt, or do you think that's just him being a little aggravated after the race that he didn't get the win?
Post-race tensions, man. That's really all it is. We've all been there. We've all been there. I know I have. I think you're not really a good driver if you haven't been mad at least after one of these races.
That's a big-time pickup right there, and I go right at him with another momentum.
And that pass falls incomplete to Juju Smith-Schuster. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of commentary on this channel. NASCAR, NHL, Madden, 2K, EA, sports games of all types, along with a lot of racing.
You'll play NASCAR 08.
They'll give it to him up the middle.
You know, if I had NASCAR 08 and I had a PS3 or 360, we probably would. I liked NASCAR 08.
Well, I mean, it's not my favorite, but I mean, it's a good game. Out of the EA titles, I think 04 is the best, but I'm a little biased.
No, I agree. And we're going to call a different run here, as that play just does not work, as that ball gets batted 3 or 4 times in the air.
I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. They're going on 4th down.
Touchdown. Eli Rogers puts us up 7-0. So Colton, going into Vegas, what are some key things that you need to stay focused on? Is Vegas one of those tracks you have to stay focused at all times, or can you just ride around in the back or in the middle, or what groove are you trying to run in the corners?
Well, it really depends on what kind of a race you're wanting to run. Now, for some of these guys in the field, Vegas is going to be one of them tracks where they're looking to make a rebound. I mean, it's still early in the season so far, but, you know, the chase is going to sneak up on us a little sooner than a lot of people think. Now, as I said, for some people, like myself or driver the number 9 car, you know, for the most part, we're already locked into the later half of the season, so. But that doesn't mean we're going to be taking it easy either. But at the same time, you got to realize there's more guys in the field that are hungrier than we are for a win. So they're going to be the ones really to watch out for at Vegas, I think. Now, as for lines, the best way to get around Vegas is up on the high side. So I don't think it'll be too far into the race before we start seeing cars venturing up there, trying to get some speed off the corner.
Colton, what's your preferred line at Vegas?
That would be the outside 1 and 2, bottom lane in 3 and 4.
He goes underneath the Drake. Breaks the tackle, he's got room to run.
It's hard to pull off a pass in a turn 1 on the bottom. I mean, if it works out enough, you can definitely make it happen. But the primary thing with turn 1 is if you just keep your speed up, you can really get the run off the corner, and it'll really defeat any type of slide job, because, speaking from experience, the chances of perfectly timing a slide job at Vegas in turn 1 are really, really slim.
Yeah, it seems in years past in this league, it seems as if a lot of cautions have happened in turn 1 because people just have not been able to hold their line where they're supposed to.
Well, that's really the nature of the beast of the track, you know. one of the primary things is if you set your car up for one line, you really don't have a good chance of holding it on the opposite line. Like, for myself, I try to set the car up for the high line. That doesn't mean that I can't run the bottom in 1 and 2. I just prefer not to be down there because, in my opinion, it's a little less speed off the corner. That's really where the high side prevails at Vegas, is the speed right off the corner.
Do you think it's possible to get the corner back up far enough that you would be able to get that run on the bottom?
In my experience, no. I mean, am I saying it's theoretically impossible? No. But in my experience, I have not seen it work as well, and I have not seen it work consistently. In my opinion, the best that the bottom is ever going to get in any of these races is going to be on the restart. Going into the first corner for the first part of the restart, the bottom will be the preferred groove for the restart, but once we come around at full speed, the high line is going to be what everybody wants to go to in turn 1. But I mean, as you know, some people know, specifically Kyle Larson, running the high side it's a mixture of risk and it's a mixture of success. You know, you can be successful on the high line, but you got to run the risk that eventually you're going to be hitting the wall at some point. I haven't seen a race yet where someone running the high side hasn't scraped up that right side at some point.
I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance coming up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that last practice we saw when they went through 2-minute drill, when they went through all the different situations.
Even like throwing it back to last season in the Mellow Yellow Xfinity Series, I was the winner of the Fall Vegas race and pretty much about threw it away on a long green flag running there at the end. I got up in the wall a little bit, trying to get a little more than what I probably should have, and it about cost me the race. I mean, we were lucky enough with cautions falling the way they were and pit strategy being what it was that we were able to pull off a win. But like I said, the risk of running up into the wall is going to be ever prevalent with these guys come tomorrow night. And it's just going to be something that these guys are going to have to keep up in mind, is that, if you're driving in the corner and you try to get a little more than you should, you're probably going to end up paying for it with your right side being banged up.
Going off of that, Colton, we've seen a rare amount of, sorry, let me rephrase that, a low amount of cautions this season. What do you think is the caution to race ratio, caution to lap ratio? Do you think we're going to have a lot of cautions, or we're going to have a lot of green flag runs over the last couple weeks, considering we've had a grand total of 12 cautions so far in 2 races?
Well, in my opinion, what it really has come down to is just, guys realizing that, these are long races and you're not going to be able to, win them on the first lap. And I mean, the other thing being is, just people not wanting to damage their cars, I mean, it's one thing to feel like Superman when you get 4 fresh Goodyears on your car, but it's another thing to, go barreling into the turn 1 3 wide doing about 200 miles an hour. And I think that's really where people have kind of backed off, is, they don't want to be put in those situations unless it's really coming down to the wire. Now, Phoenix was a case of, we saw people getting aggressive, but at the same time, it really was a case that we haven't seen yet. I mean, Daytona, there wasn't that much aggression. Even in the Clash, there wasn't really that much of it. So I don't know if Phoenix was just a scattered incident, or, come Bristol and Martinsville time, we'll see some more of that aggressiveness pop out.
With only going to Martinsville once, how do you think the short track aspect the league is going to take force in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, the thing to keep in mind is Martinsville is a lot more different than some of the other short tracks on the list. With Bristol's a lot more about keeping up your speed and momentum, whereas Martinsville is more about angling yourself in the corners. So going to Martinsville once is definitely going to be a challenge for some of these guys, given that, unlike some tracks like Bristol or Richmond where you run them twice, you have a little bit of time to think about and analyze how you ran the first race. Martinsville, we're not going to really have that chance. So in my opinion, Martinsville is going to be it's going to be something to watch, that's for sure.
So you think Martinsville is going to be a big difference maker in this great league?
I definitely think so. I think the short tracks are going to be given that most of the schedule is mile and a half, I mean, the thing to keep in mind is that there are going to be guys that come out at these different types of tracks that we might not be used to seeing up front at other tracks like the mile and a half. Like, you know, the short tracks are going to bring out a couple different guys. The road courses are certainly going to bring out a little bit different crew up front. I mean, there probably will be some people that are consistently within all these groups, but at the same time, there'll probably be some surprises in mind, especially with the short tracks. I mean, Richmond, we usually see a couple people up front that, you know, we don't normally expect to see them running as high as they are.
And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives.
Cool, and going off of that, how do you think Sonoma plays into the early point stages?
Sonoma is definitely going to be a beast, and I say that with a mixture of respect and a mixture of a little bit of anxiety in mind. And I mean, even me, like, you know, someone who's locked in to the chase later in the year, same with Fluffy, you know, we usually run pretty well at the road courses. But my biggest thing is going to be people that are, you know, hungry for a win that might see these road courses as being their best shot, given that it's not exactly the nature of road courses. We're probably not going to see as close a racing as we do at, like, say, Phoenix or Bristol. But at the same time, what it can really open up is maybe sneaking in a win on pit strategy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I definitely think that if I'm going to have a chance when we go to Sonoma to win, it's going to be off pitch strategy.
You want to win it via Tony Stewart 2016, my bad.
2016, yeah, we're going to be running in the back, and hopefully we catch a break on pit road and gain that track position.
Well, the other thing is to keep in mind is Sonoma is really a different type of beast from some of the other road courses we run. I mean, Watkins Glen in comparison is a lot higher speed, a lot more on throttle time than Sonoma is. Sonoma is a lot more technical, you know. It's really kind of like Darlington in a lot of regards, whereas when you race someone at Darlington, you get punished for it because you're not racing the track. Sonoma is a lot like that, whereas if you try to race somebody, you're just usually going to end up losing more ground because you're not hitting your marks.
Now they'll run it on the toss.
Cool, and let's talk about the communication with the 9 and the 8 last race. What do you think's going through the 9 and the 8's mind going into Las Vegas?
Well, I mean, speaking from some experience, the 9 car is definitely feeling that he's already locked in. He's probably going to look to, you know, try to put last week in the back of his mind and try to move forward. In comparison, the 8 car definitely wants to seek a little bit of redemption, get a win. Because, especially in these early parts of the season, we're going to see guys trying to get locked in as early as they can. You know, because being locked in isn't just, you know, a guaranteed spot in the chase later in the year. It's also something whereas, you know, you can run your season a lot differently if you know you're locked in than some of these other guys. Like some of these other guys that aren't locked in, they're going to be running a little bit differently than they would be if, say, they were locked in. You know, in my experience, a lot of guys that are already locked in, they tend to run a little more balls to the wall, you know, as a matter of saying, than guys that aren't. Because for the guys that aren't, they're trying to not only, you know, get in there and win a race and get locked in, but at the same time, they also have to think the bigger picture long term. You know, a top 5 finish is worth a lot more than finishing in the back of the pack.
All right, going forward, Colton. Let's get into some NASCAR silly season. Who is getting the 41?
It's going to be Daniel Suarez. I've been saying this for a couple months now, but
I think we've been calling this since Suarez got kicked down to the 19 that he would be the next man up in the Stewart-Haas camp.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, he's really the only one in the series right now that has that kind of money in terms of sponsorship to be really in consideration for the 41. Now, are there a couple other guys that have been, you know, in discussion for it? Yes, but at the same point, they either, you know, don't have enough money or don't have enough sponsorship to really warrant getting the 41. Suarez is kind of in the situation where he has enough sponsorship that he can more than likely has his entire foot in the door, and he's going to be getting the ride when they announce it. But I mean, it's hard to tell. Yeah, we could always end up being surprised.
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out.
Do you think over under Cole Custer 5 or 6 races?
Doesn't matter. You just exchange someone
in
to
Cup.
bring more pressure towards the quarterback.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind with Custer is they don't want to run him too much in that he won't be, eligible for Rookie of the Year. And I can't remember. I'm going to look it up here. What the exact number of races you can run to even be considered for that position. Because I know, trying to think, somebody ran some races in 1 year, and he had run a crap ton of them, and he ended up, he had run just enough that he was allowed to be running for Rookie of the Year. You're going to see him. Here we go. Eligibility. Must have run no more than 5 or 7 races. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it's 7 races, and have been declared to race for driver points in that series. Drivers who compete in more than 5 races in a higher NASCAR sanctioned series are not eligible for the award. So basically, Custer probably running about 5 races, I would say, so under 6. Because he's already run 1. And, when they finally decided to bring him up the Cup, they definitely wanted him for Rookie of the Year.
Colton, not too early, top Final Four for the championship. And then we'll go to the big one, since we are now 44 days away from Daytona.
They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Well, I think the biggest variable going into next year is going to be how does the Mustang perform. I mean, there are some saying that they'll struggle like the Chevys have. There are others, myself included, that think it won't be as big a deal because the Mustang that they have unveiled is a lot more similar to the Ford Fusion than the Camaro was to the Chevy SS. So I personally think the Fords will run just fine. Harvick will probably be in the chase. He'll probably make it to the Final Four because, they arguably have been the most consistent team since the inception of this new chase format, along with Kyle Busch. So besides Harvick and Kyle Busch, I think the real biggest variable is going to be how Truex performs over at Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, do you think that whole camp is going to be switched up? Do you think Kyle Busch is going to be the best car? Do you think the 11 is going to be the best car? Do you think the 19 is going to be the best car? Who do you think is going to be the best car over there at that camp? Maybe the 20 this year?
There's no doubt that the 18 is going to continue to be the best car over there. There's not a doubt in my mind. I mean, for years now, it's been the 18 has been the best car at Joe Gibbs. Then it's been either the 20 or the 19, and the 11 has usually been the odd man out. So, in my opinion, it's going to be the 18 next year, probably followed by the 19, followed by the 20, followed by the 11.
How do you think the teamwork's going to come in effect at the plate tracks with Truex not having a win at a plate track under his belt in his whole career in NASCAR?
Well, I'm going to have to interrupt you there because he does have a win at Talladega in the Busch Series.
Oh, he does?
But in the Cup Series,
we'll go with the Cup Series.
Yeah, in the Cup Series, he doesn't have a complete win.
That's my fault. They make it sound like he's never won a plate race in his whole entire career of racing.
No, trust me. There's been a lot of mistakes made by making assumptions like that. That's on the broadcaster's fault, but getting back into it, I really feel like we're going to continue to see teamwork being a constant fixture in the series at the plate races, especially. I mean, we saw Stewart-Haas working together at Talladega last year. We saw Gibbs working together at the plate races in previous seasons. It's just come down to the point that, if you're going to be successful at the plate races, you need to have a dancing partner, basically. For some, it's going to be in the form of teammates. For others, it's going to be in the form of having teams that are a technical alliance, like we saw with Bubba Wallace and Austin Dillon working together at the end of the 500 last year. But the main constant fixture is going to be, if you want to succeed at the plate races, you need to have a dancing partner at the end of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Definitely agree with that idea. All right, give me your winners and the goals, and then give me your Daytona 500 champion.
For the duels. Well, it's hard to make a prediction for the duels, given we haven't seen qualifying yet, and we won't see it for another 40 days. But...
Oh no, we're just hypothetically speaking here. Who do you think are going to be the two fastest cars?
Well, I mean, Chase is always pretty fast at the speedways. If he tones down the aggression just a little bit, he might sneak out another dual win. And, you know, Blaney as well has proven he's a pretty decent plate racer, but we can never count out the veterans either, in like Kurt Busch or Kevin Harvick, who last year they both were up near the front of the race, near the end of it. So it's probably going to be either going to be one of the two young guns of Chase Elliott or Ryan Blaney, or it's going to be some of the veterans. As for the 500, I'm gonna go with Kurt Busch. Honestly, he's a previous winner of the 500. He was running up front near the end of the race last year, and it's going to be one of those situations where I think he's had enough instances of plate races where he's come up, as the bridesmaid, where I think he's finally had enough of instances of that where he's learned a little bit how to actually get up there and maintain the lead at the end of the race.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone.
No, yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Chip Ganassi's plate program with a mixture of Kurt Busch's aggressive driving on plate tracks. I could agree with that, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with Chevy. Chevy going back-to-back, winning 500. I'm going to go with Mr. Alex Bowman getting his first win to start the 500 campaign. The idiot was real fast and is always fast when you go down there for speed weeks. I think Chase Elliott's going to win his first Bud shootout, and then I believe Alex Bowman's going to be your Daytona 500 winner. Hendrick gets a weekend sweep.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Tannehill.
Well, it's interesting to say that, because really the 500 was one of the only races last year where we really saw the Chevys being very competitive with this new Camaro model. I mean, it seemed like the whole speed weeks they showed speed, they showed, consistency, and then after that it just seemed like the success that we're used to seeing Chevy have kind of evaporated as the season went along.
Oh, definitely, I agree. But the only car that showed up was the 9 car. It seemed that Hendrick knew what they were doing in the chase, giving all the engine power to Chase Elliott, getting him as close as he can to the chase with one mess up in the Hendrick camp. And it wasn't in Chase's fault. It was a contact between, I believe it was Kurt Busch and that wreck. And
you're talking about the one at Phoenix, right?
Yeah,
so
was
on Hamlin and it was Kurt Busch.
Hamlin and Kurt Busch, yep.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because this is in regards to the other consistently successful Chevy somewhat last year was the 42 Kyle Larson, but as we're used to seeing from Larson, they start out the season strong and then they kind of camper off near the end of the year. Yeah, so if they work on that and stay a little consistent, they could get a lot deeper in the chase than they usually do. I mean, because how many times do we go to Homestead and Larson is, one of the faster guys there running up against the ball?
They're trying to show that they can run.
I mean, if Larson
all it really take is getting him to Homestead, and he could be a pretty big threat for the championship.
Well, let's talk about the NASCAR schedule. Would you like to see some races, some tracks added, or some tracks lose dates, or where the race finishes? What are your feelings about that?
My feelings on the schedule are the same as they have been in previous years. Less mile and a half, more short tracks, more, I'm even down for adding 1 or 2 more road courses. I think the real thing the schedule lacks right now is variety, whereas the schedule is really overwhelmingly dominated by mile and a half. If you were to include a little bit more variety in the schedule in terms of adding more short tracks, adding a couple more road courses even, you would probably see a more interesting schedule. And I know that NASCAR has been in talks with other tracks. They've been talking with Nashville. There was recently a deal inked for that. You know, no word on what series will be going to Nashville. More than likely it'll be a K&N race or an ARCA race. As ARCA has been running there the past couple seasons. And one of the biggest news that I've seen recently in the NASCAR community has been the possibility of the return of Rockingham to the schedule. Now, for those who don't know, Rockingham has been under new management recently, and they have been working at renovating the track, bringing up the code. They have been very vocal in wanting to get NASCAR and back to the track and keep embracing within the scope of what they want to do with the track. Now, Rockingham is interesting as it's one of the two tracks that I've seen the most people say they want back on the schedule, the other being North Wilkesboro, but Wilkesboro is a little too far gone at this point.
I was going to say, that'd be very complicated, wouldn't it? Like, I'm right saying that, right?
No, you're totally correct in saying that.
Like I can't talk right now, but
Wilkesboro is a very, very delicate situation in that the track really hasn't seen much racing since it stopped hosting a cup date in 1996. Now, there was a cup date an attempt a few years ago to bring short track racing back to there, and there's also been a couple instances of cup teams testing there. I think the most recent was Kevin Harvick in 2011. But the main thing is that Wilkesboro would require a massive amount of work to even bring it up to the possibility of having an ARCA race at it. I mean, the pictures we've seen come out of it recently, you know, it's very dilapidated, it's very run down. There's weeds growing up to the track. Recently there was a fire that burned down several buildings at the track. So, I mean, in all likelihood, Rockingham has a far better shot at getting a cup date than Wilkesboro does at this point. And I say that because Rockingham, in comparison, hosted a top 3 series race not even about 10 years ago in the form of the Camping World Truck Series, running 2 races there before losing the date again. Even after that, ARCA still continued to run there for a bit. So, in all likelihood, Rockingham probably has about a 60% chance of getting a race of some kind from some series. Now, how long will it be before they get a cup race again is really speculation at this point. I know there's a lot in the community that would want this. Recently on Twitter, I know in regards to the deal that was inked with Nashville Fairgrounds, both Chase Elliott and Dale Jr. spoke out saying that they would be in favor of the Cup Series going back there, and they also were very vocal saying that if this was going to be a thing that happened, drivers needed to get more vocal about wanting it.
And I think that's going to be the same way with Rockingham, because the age of NASCAR, and this is going to sound bad, like NASCAR is getting better with like the drivers and like the young talent, but it's just the viewership just keeps going down. Like, you're not seeing these races, these tracks filled, like, I can't talk, these tracks filled anymore. What can NASCAR do to, you know, bring the fans back to NASCAR?
Well, that's a complicated situation, and I mean, you and I have had numerous conversations about this. You know, there's been different opinions, but I think one of the main things NASCAR really needs to look at is who they're trying to appeal to. You know, I mean, the argument going around the NASCAR community for the past 15, 20 years has been that NASCAR has really moved away from trying to appeal to race fans and have been instead trying to appeal to sports fans in general. Now, if you're like me and you're a race fan first, the main thing that you want is for NASCAR to appeal to the racing fans, because you know, as someone who's a racing fan, that's what I want to see. I want to see a sport that is focused on having the best racing possible, while at the same time also not being ridiculously fabricated or drama-induced. And really, that's been the consistent argument in the fan base with things like stages or the chase, you know, trying to think of something else. But really, it just seems like the chase and the schedule have been the two biggest things in how NASCAR really tries to appeal to new fans. Now, am I saying that they should totally turn their back on trying to get the biggest audience possible? No, but at the same time, they really need to take a look at what made the sport popular in the 90s, which was, you know, it was appealing to people that liked racing. So if they were to do that, I could easily see fans that have been disenfranchised or disenchanted with the series as of late coming back. But the other thing to keep in mind is that it wouldn't be an instantaneous thing. You know, it would take a lot of work to get back fans that have since moved on from the sport. And at the same time, you more than likely wouldn't be able to get everyone that's left to come back. But at the same time, if you continue to work at trying to appeal to the right portion of the fan base, you could easily get fans to come back. Now, and what I mean by that is less gimmicks, less fabricated drama, to quote, you know, a line that's been thrown around throughout the fan base for a while now. That's really just, I think, what's turned a lot of people away. And NASCAR has made steps to work on that. I mean, you've seen it in, there's been less fake debris cautions as of late. I believe that last year was the lowest point for those that we've had since about 2011, 2010. So, I mean, NASCAR definitely is aware of things that the fan base doesn't like, and they're obviously working trying to fix these issues, but I think what gets lost in transition is that it's gonna be a process that takes a little bit of time.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Tannehill now on second down.
But I mean, as I said, I know that if you're going to talk, you know, what's the most complicated thing to talk about for NASCAR, it's going to be how fans feel about the chase. You know, when it comes to that, I mean, there are people that are obviously split down the middle about 50-50. You know, there are people that like the chase, there are people that don't like the chase, and I really don't think there's going to be a way to please everybody in that situation.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you can't please everybody at the same time. If we could, we wouldn't be human.
Defensively here, you've got the cushion, but
we all make mistakes, and I think NASCAR has made some mistakes, but I think they're going to be able to fix it in the future.
No, I agree. I mean, one of the biggest things I've seen has been the way that, you know, the people running the sport have really responded to criticism as of late. You know, the step down of Brian France has really, I think, ignited a lot of change that's coming to the sport soon. I mean, Jim France and the new president of NASCAR, whose name eludes me for the minute, but I mean, it's not Mike Helton. Mike Helton has since took on another position within the company. But they've both been very vocal about wanting to listen to what fans want. They've been very vocal about, you know, wanting to change things to increase not only viewership, but increase happiness among the viewers. You know, and just overall, they've shown a lot more open-mindedness towards listening to fans than what we've seen in previous years.
Oh yeah, definitely, I agree. They are, I mean, with bringing back these old tracks, I think they're finally realizing fans are tired of either the same track or not seeing new tracks being developed. or like not only new tracks but bring back old tracks that can be rejuvenated with the young racing. Like I think these young guns that are in NASCAR now would have a lot of fun at Rockingham myself.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, but you bring up an excellent point about fans being tired of seeing the same tracks. Well, I think that's really been what's been a detriment to the series. It's just been the lack of, to rephrase it, the complete stagnation of the schedule. I mean, the last track that we really saw added to the Cup schedule was Kentucky, and that was 2011. Now, that was almost half a decade ago now. But, I mean, just, like I said, it's just been a stagnated schedule, and I think fans are just tired of that. I mean, as I've said, half the schedule alone is mile and a half races. And as we saw by Martin Truex Jr.'s championship run in 2017, if you exceed on the type of racetrack that is half the schedule, you can obviously have a very good chance of winning the championship just by winning those type of races alone.
Yeah,
so I think what fans really want to see is just a little bit more variety to the schedule that really makes it a far more challenging schedule.
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the off-season and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
I mean, I've been hearing rumblings from, sorry to interrupt, I've been hearing rumblings from a lot of people that work in the industry. I mean, I know people that work for ARCA, I know people that work in the lower reaches of the sport that, news trickles down from the top. I mean, I've heard rumors of Canadian Tire getting a triple header event soon once the schedule is allowed to be opened up. I've seen talk of Iowa possibly getting a date, but you know what they say, talk is cheap.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can't believe everything.
So I mean, it obviously would be nice to see a schedule that was a lot more varied, a lot more different types of tracks. I mean, I would personally like to see a couple more road courses. I would personally like to see a lot more short tracks come back, because I personally feel we see some of the best racing a year on the short tracks. But, it's going to be a complicated deal trying to get a schedule worked out that, pleases all these tracks.
Holding. Defense.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Of course, they had the option, and they choose.
I mean, for example, you don't want to run Pocono in spring when it's like 35 degrees outside.
On first down, it's Tannehill. And throw right side complete.
Yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from.
4 yards on the pickup, and it's a second down.
And I mean, there's obviously necessarily going to be some pushback from some of the tracks that are already on the schedule that possibly fear losing a date. I know Eddie Gossert, who runs Texas Madden Steelers, was very vocal about the idea of the Cup Series possibly going to Circuit of the Americas, which is also in Texas. He was quoted as saying there's only room enough for one race NASCAR-wise in Texas, which, on one hand, I mean, I can't exactly fault him for that, but at the same point, Texas hasn't provided a good race in at least a couple years now.
I think Texas hasn't provided a good race since, I would say, last year Jeff Gordon was in the chase.
Yeah, so I mean, the main thing that, Eddie Gossert at the end of the day is trying to protect, his race. He has 2 dates on the schedule, and obviously he doesn't want to give both of those dates up. And so it just becomes a matter of, what team, what tracks are willing to give up a date to get another track on the schedule, or really even if they are willing to do that at all.
And to come away with nothing, that's difficult for a team to handle.
And now we'll see if they can make it less difficult on themselves on this drive. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But
now
is the time to start using those timeouts.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I wasn't sure. I thought I lost you.
Nah, I'm looking on eBay, man. Used fire suits.
What?
Race used fire suits are a hot seller for collectors. I mean, you can buy race used fire suits from, you know, NASCAR. You can buy them in IndyCar. And I've been trying to find one recently, but the challenge is, I'm 5'5" and only 130 pounds, and it's hard to find a fire suit that is that height and also has like a 30 waist. Everything I'm finding is basically would be a blanket on me.
No, yeah, definitely. Check for driver Mark Martin. I heard he was pretty short back in the day.
Yeah, but I mean the problem becomes, you know, the older the suit, the more money it's worth. You know, and I'd like to get one without, you know, breaking the bank.
And on the ground they go with a running back.
I mean, something will pop up eventually.
Up at about the 47-yard line. So the Steelers with the football as we
with a minute 59 seconds left, up by 24 points. Your Pittsburgh Steelers just have to chew clock it now, and we're going to pick up another first with Jalen Samuels.
Have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line.
So here's an interesting question in regards to the league. Who do you think is going to be a surprise winner this season?
You know, and this might just be me picking favorites and trying to promote his YouTube channel. I really think NM54 Gold Ops has a good chance going into these plate tracks. Or maybe even this week at Vegas. Jake may be a beginner, but he had some success in Heat 2 with a couple second place finishes in our original league.
No, I completely agree. I mean, you know, as it is with the plate races, I mean, with the plate races, you're always going to see guys that are up front that, you know, are plate racers. They know what they're doing, they know how to get up front, and when they get up front, they stay up there. But at the same point, the nature of plate racing opens it up to surprise winners. I mean, before he took off and had all the success he did last season in the Mellow Yellow Xfinity Series, Fluffy's first win was at a plate race that nobody expected him to go out there and run as well as he did.
Now let's check on the call.
Illegal block in the back.
Yeah, you got to look at it from this perspective. There was two good plate track leaders, two good plate racers the whole race who led both stages, and we just Colton and myself we couldn't just get the job done. We actually took each other out with, I think, 5 to go. I think that's what happened. 5 to go.
I think you're thinking of the I believe you're thinking of the fall race with that. In regards to the spring race that Fluffy won, I actually ended up running second to him. And I mean, it wasn't for lack of trying to get around him. It's just the opportunity didn't present itself. I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather think big picture. At the end of the day, I wanted to win that race, but at the same point, I also didn't want to throw away a good points finish. But I mean, nobody really expected Fluffy to go out there and have as good a success at that race as he did.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So the Dolphins offense heading out as we give you a look at the playoff race.
Speaking of Fluffy, is he on live?
And I tell you,
not that I know of.
He
said he just got done running a sports deal.
And I know we always talk about what the
party, see if he wants to come in.
And then we kind of go, okay,
yeah, let me see if I can.
Let's see how it plays out.
Get him
Wouldn't it be fun to play with this playoff lineup right now?
I don't think he's on.
Just about anyone can win this whole
just got off.
out of this grouping we currently have.
He's been Snapchatting me.
It may look entirely different.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for
what do you work tomorrow?
Me, I don't work tomorrow.
I'm good, so you'll be online one. So if I text you to get on at like 1 o'clock when I get home from work, we can probably turn some laps.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, I'll probably be going out to eat tomorrow at some point, but I'll be back before the race, but I'll be home most of the day.
Also looking forward now, because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins
oh my God. Someone is selling the Dogecoin Pit Crew shirt for $90, $7 shipping.
And now Tannehill and the Dolphins are going to go for 2.
The tight end position has always been dangerous, especially
I
in the
remember when
red
that was
zone
a
short
thing.
field.
You don't really hear.
Tight ends aren't
It was like a
necessarily
meme
the
that
tight
kind of
ends
came
of
along.
old. They're the rocked up wide receivers
Yeah,
who have a
definitely.
little bit more speed, way harder to cover than before.
I mean, anymore it's all about, do you know the way.
Down 2 scores, but they'll try
Yeah.
the onside kick. And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back.
We're gonna come in here and just kneel the ball out.
I know we brought
And
analytics into
we're
the
gonna get
game,
ready
and someone has said
to,
here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside
We're actually
kick,
gonna probably get ready
80% of the
to
time,
go to bed.
the team expecting
Not gonna
it,
lie,
they
we're gonna
do
kneel this
actually
ball
recover the
out.
ball, which is what we saw
We got
here.
work in the morning.
I just wonder if that
We'll see you
number
guys
is
about
much
1
more of
o'clock.
a anecdotal type
Or
of a
maybe
number,
we'll
kinda
save
like
this
when
for
the
Saturday
coach just tells,
afternoon.
well, when you score on special
And we'll
teams,
bring you
93%
some
of the time
Ravens
you win the
Steelers
game.
round
I'm
2
still waiting to see
football.
that number as
And Miami's
empirical.
gonna call a
So now
timeout.
with 6
Why? You're down
seconds remaining, we
15.
get a timeout on the
16.
field.
Why not?
You're down 16 points. No chance of winning the game.
Someone is selling a... Oh, damn, that's actually legit.
And the knee is taken for the Steelers out of the victory.
Someone is selling a
formation.
Michael
And the
Waltrip
clock
Pit
will
Crew
now
shirt
stop as a
from
timeout is
the
called with
DEI
5
days.
seconds left. So time to start going in the other direction.
And the Jets want the unthinkable beating the Redskins 30 to 28.
Roethlisberger dropping to a knee, and that ought to
That's
do it.
$100. I'm actually going to add that to my watch list. I'm curious to see how much that goes
Road
for.
win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for
Ooh.
granted, no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
Someone is also selling a Chase Authentic Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oreo jacket
No one
for
thinks we can do
$80.
this.
Is that my
Only people
size?
who believe are right here in this room, and then you go out
That
the
is
room,
my size.
band together and get it done.
Don't know if I want to pay $80 for it, but
Definitely
So
do.
for the Steelers,
Oreo.
back
Yeah.
over 500 at
I don't know.
7-6.
I might be able to find that
And
cheaper.
they'll head
Let me
back
look that
home
up.
next week to take
That's the
on
one thing I've
Buffalo
learned about
Bills.
eBay is
Meanwhile, for the
you never buy the
Dolphins,
first one you
it's gonna-
see. You always got to shop around for a little bit. Just see if something else comes up. Oh, Dale call for $30.
Is it a Dale call?
Yeah, Dale call. I almost bought one of those at one point. Let's see here. You gotta go through like the cheap jackets first to get to the good shit.
Alright guys, we will see you back for the Buffalo Bills game, not the Ravens game. Correction, forgot. The Ravens are the last game before AB comes back to town to end the regular season. We will be playing Buffalo with Le'Veon Bell making his return to Pittsburgh for the first time. So we got Le'Veon Bell coming to town. The rival Ravens will most likely determine who's getting that first or second wild card spot. And then the San Francisco 49ers in the return of Antonio Brown to Pittsburgh. So this is Walking Vision signing off along with Buffy Fan 95. Peace!